whatever said and done, all political parties make big claims about having women representation, and they make all these tall, fancy ideas of how they are going to make policies on women's safety, women's jobs, employment. But when it comes to their own self and trying to get them into better political positions, less efforts are made, and this is perhaps the worst performance when it comes to women representation in several decades.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Political Pulse. We are in conversation with Amil Bhatnagar, State Correspondent Himachal Pradesh at the Indian Express. The Indian National Congress on December 8 wrestled power in the Himachal Pradesh. The Grand Old Party bagged 40 seats in the 68-seat assembly. The Bharatiya Janata Party could manage 25 seats. However, the new 68-member Himachal Pradesh Assembly will have just one woman MLA. BJP's Reena Kashyap is the only woman MLA who managed to win from Pachhad, beating Congress candidate Dayal Pyari. In 2017, however, 4 women candidates had won in the assembly elections. In the Himachal Assembly polls that were held on November 12, there were 24 women candidates in the fray. The Bharatiya Janata Party had fielded 6 women candidates. The Aam Aadmi Party had fielded 5, while the Congress had 3 candidates. Now coming to you, Amil, can you just tell me who is Reena Kashyap, the candidate who won?
Reena Kashyap is a sitting MLA from BJP in Pachhad constituency. This is the seat of Suresh Kashyap, who's currently the BJP district president. After his election to the Lok Sabha in 2019, a by-election was held in Pachhad constituency, and the ticket was given to Reena Kashyap, a former Zilla Parishad member, a local, a popular face, and she won the 2019 by-polls. And since then, she's been representing the constituency, and she was fielded against Dayal Pyari. Dayal Pyari is a BJP rebel. Dayal Pyari was not given the ticket by BJP, and she switched over to Congress. And this was the only seat in Himachal where the 2 main candidates were women. And even though Gangaram Musafir, a Congress leader, had been winning this seat for multiple times, Reena Kashyap established her own standing in the constituency, and as of today, she is the only woman candidate in the entire 68 assembly seat.
Yeah, so can you tell me about the other women candidates who lost?
Well, there were some surprising results. For example, Asha Kumari, a 6-time MLA from Dalhousie, and a possible CM candidate face ended up losing, and which was quite a surprise because everyone thought that even though there was anti-incumbency against her, but given her seniority and her position, it wasn't expected. Dayal Pyari herself is also a surprise because Dayal Pyari is a popular figure in Pachhad constituency, and she ended up losing to Reena Kashyap. And but overall, there were only 24 women candidates in the entire 412 candidate list, which is a sizably small number because there are equal male and female voters, around 26 lakh each. So in a state which has an electorate like with such numbers, there was slightly less representation. And also Sarveen Chaudhary from BJP, she's a sitting minister. She also lost her seat.
Can you briefly tell me about the demography or about the women representation in Himachal Pradesh? Like the
As per the ECI, there are equal number of voters between men and women, which has been the trend in general for Himachal. It is a very literate population, and the state has more than 80% literacy rate, and women have played a very important role in deciding the electoral fortunes of the parties in the state. They have in some election in the previous elections, the women voters had outnumbered male voters, and in this election also there are more than 40 seats where women voters have been higher. So this state, Himachal, has a good ratio when it comes to women voting, and they play a very important role in deciding which party is going to win.
About the participation of women in this assembly election, can you give me the numbers, like how many women participated, voted in this election?
The exact figure is yet to come, but as per the initial figure, 73% of the 26 lakh women voted, while we are yet to get the final figures from district wise. But from the initial readings, there are at least 40 seats in which there are more than 5 to 6,000 women voters more than men. So, like we said, that even though only one women candidate is going to be sent to the assembly, the women on the ground are huge deciding factors. And in fact, that's how all the political parties target them also in their manifestos.
And just a last question, like the history of women's representation in the state assembly, like how have women been represented in the state assembly before this?
Well, it has not been a huge number given the ratio of women who vote. In the 90s, there was one assembly in which there were there were nearly 10 female candidates. But in the previous, in the 2007 assembly, there were only 4 women, and out of which two lost the elections this time, and one wasn't given a ticket, and only one of them managed to retain their seat. So for a state that has such a huge number of women from across, and not just politically, they are involved in professions across the board, from the bureaucracy to government jobs to tourism industry. So women are spread out in different areas, and they have a certain command over their own regions, and they have a way of influence. And this is the reason why Congress promised rupees 1,500 to women between the age of 18 and 60, and BJP came out with an entire manifesto based on women's needs, and with their outreach to women. So while every political party panders to women, they do not make any efforts to make sure a lot of women go to the parliament. When the manifesto launch was happening, Nadda was asked that, you have an entire manifesto based on women's needs and women's wants, but why don't you have more women in your political fray? Why don't you send more candidates? And his answer was that our idea is to win. So we'll only give the ticket to the candidate who's possibility who's more likely to win. So, whatever said and done, all political parties make big claims about having women representation, and they make all these tall, fancy ideas of how they are going to make policies on women's safety, women's jobs, employment. But when it comes to their own self and trying to get them into better political positions, less efforts are made, and this is perhaps the worst performance when it comes to women representation in several decades.
That was really insightful. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for sharing those important details. Tune into the Indian Express for all the latest updates. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to like and subscribe our channel.